Yo, what's up guys, it's your boy Rythmn. I wanted to make a quick and simple video today consisting of showing you guys exactly how to burst and deal damage while controlling your opponent. I've actually gotten a lot of requests saying that I show how to CC and control, but I never really show how I produce damage and kill our target. So this video is going to be a short one, but I'm going to explain every damage ability I use in slow motion so you guys can see exactly what I'm doing. So in theory, your job is always multitasking and controlling the opponent while also doing damage to the main target. Now keep in mind, when you play with the Frost Mage, you won't always have to concentrate on CC. For example, I can start off with a sap and then let my mage sheep after my sap falls off so I can continue bursting. So in this case, I get the sap off and immediately head towards the paladin who decided to rush us. Now before I open, I pop Shadow Blades and Cold Blood, and I use a Shadow Strike to teleport to the paladin, since in some cases lag might show him in a different location than he really is. So this gives me 3 combo points, so I then cheap shot to stun the paladin while it gives me a 5 combo points to throw directly into a Nightblade. But remember that you need to pop Shadow Dance right before Nightblade, since it has no GCD and it starts your cooldown reduction. So knowing that we are bursting, I then use Gormal's Bite to produce another 5 combo points as well as energy return, and then toss those 5 points into a 5-point Eviscerate. This now activates my artifact trait Finality, so my next Eviscerate is going to be Empowered. I then immediately follow up with another cheap shot since the first one ended, so that he stays stun locked. Now this gives my mage the most potential burst he can produce since our target is locked down. So after the cheap shot, I messed up and did a Shadow Strike instead of Eviscerate, but I don't think it would have managed to kill him anyways since bubble auto procs for paladins nowadays. So now that we've gotten the bubble out of the paladin, it's basically time to reset. So instead of switching to the warlock and trying to do damage, we just control him by throwing CCs at him until the paladin's bubble falls off. So after this situation, I throw one last cheap shot into the paladin, which was actually a mistake because it resets his stun DR, which you want to avoid until he is off stun DR to set up another kill. Instead, after his bubble, I continued to do my rotation, doing 2 Shadow Strikes and a 5-point Nightblade or Eviscerate. So at this point, you're basically just doing filler damage really and not going for a kill, but more so just keeping up that slight pressure. In this scenario, you can either completely reset the fight or keep up the pressure like we're doing. Once I notice that the stun DR is off the paladin, I decide it's time to go for another kill. I immediately cheap shot the paladin, but he instantly trinkets, so after a 5-point Eviscerate, I follow up with another cheap shot. Now at this point, your mage should know when you are cheap shot stunning that you're trying to lock down the target and go for the kill. I noticed that after my second cheap shot that the warlock is vulnerable to CC, so I throw a quick kidney shot his way and toss one last cheap shot on the paladin to get the kill. So in theory, remember that you are always able to do 3 cheap shots on someone until it completely goes on DR. Use this as a prime time to set up a kill since the target is literally unable to play his character and pop defenses if you do it right. Some things you gotta keep in mind are things will change from time to time, like when you're killing an orc who has stun resist, so your CC might have to change a little bit. Also keep in mind that the general rotation you want to keep on targets is always keeping up 5-point Nightblades and dumping the rest of your combo points into Eviscerates. In this second clip, I'll show you how I'm doing damage as well as controlling the other team. So fighting this mirror team who actually has a rank 1 Disc Priest on their side named Solus, I have to be very careful on the opener. In this case, they got the opener first, so my main priority is disrupting that opener as much as possible so we don't get global. If you look closely, I immediately sprint and cheap shot the rogue while trying to do the same to the mage, but accidentally shadow strike the rogue again. I then get Frost Nova, so I immediately cloak since I know I'm trying to stop the pressure, and cheap shot the mage as well. If you look closely, I'm at 5 combo points, so I throw a Nightblade on the mage while he trinkets. I then throw 2 more shadow strikes on the mage and manage to get off a kidney shot on the rogue, which forces him to trinket because he wants to keep up the pressure. I then immediately get polyed, but my healer dispels me and I toss an 8-second blind on the rogue, which completely voids their opener now, so I've done my job. Now to reverse the pressure, I shadow strike 2 times on the mage and then 5-point eviscerate. I try and get his sap off, but someone accidentally broke his blind, so I couldn't. At this point, this forces the mage to throw up temporal shield, but since he's so low and I do 1 more shadow strike, he ice blocks. This is perfect because now he really has no defensives at all anymore. So I continue to throw up some filler damage on the rogue while I wait on the mage, and then he finally blinks towards me. So I now notice at this point he's trying to do a ring of frost, so I immediately shadow strike to him and teleport behind him to kick his cast. 1 more shadow strike, I throw a full 5-point Nightblade on him, but since he's casting poly now, I have no interrupts. So I get 1 more shadow strike in before I'm polyed, but for some reason the rogue decides to cheap shot and open on me, so it breaks it. So after I get out of the stuns, I try and get a kidney shot on the rogue, but I didn't actually realize that he's on stun DR, so he's immune. So I then notice that the mage is in a prime location in the center of the map, so I shadow strike twice to him after he blinks and throw a 5-point eviscerate while kicking his frostbolt. At this point, we have so much pressure and control on this team, it's pretty much in the bag. Our healer Mario is running towards their Disc Priest to fear him, which he will of Forsakens, but it's a little bit too late. It's also very wise to keep this constant pressure as much as possible, and definitely be careful about not overextending because the match can flip that easy if you're tunnel visioned. I get off 1 more Gormal's bite before he polys me, and my mage manages to finish him with the Shatter Burst. So this is a perfect example to show you guys that your role can change throughout the match, such as in the beginning of this one, I'm purely trying to peel instead of doing damage or lining up CC. After we regained our momentum, I then began to burst and lock down the mage, so he finally died.
Where this going?
Oh, my shadow strike, yeah.
Hey, Solas.
Sub.
Let's get him.
Dispel him or something so you get in combat, Mario.
Yeah, I'm in combat.
Sorry.
Grand Priest, please wait. I'm fair.
Yeah.
I blinded rogue.
Full poly.
I'm gonna sap rogue off that. Oh, you fucking got him out, don't worry.
It's fine. Yeah.
I'm blinded. I trinket a blind.
You can't, I'm in poly only just going, it's fine. It's off.
Second poly.
I kicked that. Kick ring. He's polying. A poly full.
Yeah.
They're going, no, they're not going me.
That's some damage. I kicked.
Left there. In a fair priest. Very priest to mage.
I kicked frostbolt.
This one.
I'm fearful.
He's not doing anything yet.
Nice. So like I said, this is going to be a short video explaining the damage rotation and burst potential instead of actually showing you guys the CC side like my other videos. So hopefully this video helped you guys out in some way, and if it did, please be sure to hit that thumbs up button, guys, because that's the best way I know you enjoy the series. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace!